Open your mind. Let's go.
And you put that crap down on your children and wonder why these niggas are so crazy?
Open your mind. This is X from the Proper Thought series. You know, the Father Stereo. And the reason why I wanted to talk about white supremacy being the reason for everything is this. I'm downtown, you know, as y'all can probably tell from all the noise in the background. And I rode past a guy and he had a sign. And the sign said, I'm unemployed because of white supremacy. Now, let's think about that. Well, first, let's be clear, okay? Is white supremacy a real thing? Yes, it is. Is white privilege a real thing? Yes, that is real as well. But I think we as black people have given way too much credit to white supremacy. And now mind you, is it prolific and prevalent in black folks' lives? Absolutely. I believe that to be true. But what I also believe is that we as black people have used white supremacy as this major talking point, okay? And we also use it to give cover to things that we aren't doing as a people. Now, you hear people on the internet and on television and all over media talking about white supremacy. But we cannot blame white supremacy on every damn thing that happens to black people. That's just pure bullshit, okay? Like the brother I just passed, he said he's unemployed because of white supremacy, okay? That's what his sign said. Now, maybe white supremacy kept him from getting an education to get a good job. Maybe white supremacy kept him out of a job that he wanted. But white supremacy is not totally responsible for him not having a job, okay? Because, look, if we are to ever advance as a people, we can't keep using what white people do as a excuse for not advancing. We can't use what white people do as an excuse for us being lazy, for us being poor, for us being unemployed, for us having 9 babies by 9 different dudes, for dudes having 20 babies by 20 different women. I mean, I just don't believe that white supremacy is the reason for these things. But you hear others talk of it. You hear others talk of how the reason why the ghettos are the way they are because of white supremacy. The reason why there's so many unwed mothers is because of white supremacy. The reason why so many brothers are in jail is because of white supremacy. The reason why so many brothers don't have good jobs or don't have good educations is because of white supremacy. And see, I try to bump that, because let me tell you something. I've had my bumps, I've had my rough spots in my life, and I've been through a lot of trials and tribulations. I mean, I've been to prison, okay? When I was a young guy, I sold drugs. I did all of that stuff, all right? I did all of that stuff. And I did those things by my own choices, okay? Now, you hear a lot of people say, you know, I did this because the man had his foot on my throat, okay? The man left me no choice. The white man made it so I had to sell drugs. I had to steal. I had to rob. I had to go to prison. I don't buy it, man. I don't buy it. I just don't. Because me personally, every damn thing I did in my life, I did by my own choice, okay? No white supremacist was standing by me with a 45 to my head making me sell cocaine, okay? No white supremacist was standing by me with a 45 to my head making me steal things or rob things or do things to go to prison. He just wasn't. Now, a lot of us can fall back on that. We can fall back on that and say it's because of white supremacy, because every time you talk to someone, okay, every time you talk to a black person, okay, and you talk about the things, that affect black people, because that's what we do here at the Popular Thought Series. We talk about things, that concern black folks, okay? So whenever you interject what white people are doing and giving credence to what white people are doing as if that justifies you selling drugs, using drugs, robbing, stealing, dropping out of school, okay, back and forth to prison. I mean, for us to justify these things with white supremacy is ridiculous. And for other black people to give justification to the masses of black people for the ridiculous decisions and the asinine behavior that a lot of black people do, they're just giving them cover. They're giving them cover, okay? If a brother got 10, 15, 20 babies by 10, 15, 20 people, different women, you ask a brother why, the first thing they want to say is because of white supremacy. If a woman has 9 and 10 kids by 9 and 10 dudes, you ask these brothers why, they say it's because of white supremacy. Now, I'm not sure, what these people's sexual life is like, but I'm sure when they were in the process of making these babies, no white supremacist was standing there making them do that, okay? White supremacy isn't the reason why brothers are killing each other by the dozens in Chicago and in places like Detroit and New York. But if you ask anybody, the first thing they say, they're doing it because of white supremacy. That's ridiculous. I mean, if we want to acknowledge the fact that white supremacy is real, we can do that. But for us to partake in behavior, that gives more prevalence to white supremacy is ridiculous. We say white supremacy exists, so therefore, shouldn't we be doing things to counteract white supremacy? Wouldn't it be better for us not to be killing each other in the streets if we thought that white supremacy was the reason why we were doing it? Wouldn't it be better for us not to be doing it? Wouldn't it be better for us to be trying to get a better education for ourselves, a better education for our kids, because we believe that white supremacy is keeping us from doing that? I mean, it's almost like a double negative. Everybody wants to cry white supremacy for everything, but people don't want to do the things that would counteract the so-called white supremacy. We got all these kids running around here with no fathers like we always talk about, okay? We got brothers killing each other by the dozens in the streets, okay? We got poverty, okay, in record numbers, okay? 20% of black people are living in deep poverty. That's 1 out of every 5, all right? We got all these things like that going on. But instead of doing the things that would counteract, again, white supremacy, we continue to do these things and blame it on white supremacy. And to me, that just doesn't make any damn sense. And it also doesn't make any damn sense for people to get on the internet and give all these people cover under the blanket of white supremacy. It's almost as if they're saying, oh, well, if it wasn't for white supremacy, these brothers wouldn't be killing each other in the streets. If it wasn't for white supremacy, 20% of our people wouldn't be poor. If it wasn't for white supremacy, brothers wouldn't be going around here impregnating 20 damn women. If it wasn't for white supremacy, we wouldn't have all these unwed mothers with 9 and 10 babies. Man, it's bullshit. Okay, it's bullshit. It's straight bullshit. And anybody who thinks that it's not is a damn fool. Okay? White supremacy does not make you go out and kill other black people. I don't care. Alright? You can say what you want. You can say self-hate. You can say ostracizing. You can say lack of respect for each other. But when you start talking about white supremacy is the reason for these things, man, you are putting a narrative out there, boy. And not only are you putting a false narrative out there, you're giving people, I say again, you're giving people cover for making very bad decisions. Because every single thing that concerns black people, okay, that is negative, that is dangerous, that is ill-advised, that is asinine, that is backwards, that is wrong. White supremacy now becomes the reason for it. And when you give somebody a reason for doing wrong, not only are you co-signing the wrongdoing, you're making it so they don't even realize that it's wrong. They start thinking that this is what they're supposed to do. I'm supposed to be poor because of white supremacy. I'm supposed to sell crack and heroin and every damn thing else because of white supremacy. I'm supposed to drop out of school and throw my education to the wind because of white supremacy. I'm supposed to kill brothers in the street because of white supremacy. I'm supposed to get 30 women pregnant because of white supremacy. I'm supposed to have 10 babies by 10 dudes because of white supremacy. And I'm telling y'all, we have to stop giving our black people cover under this white supremacy thing. We have to stop doing it. Because white supremacy isn't making us do all the crazy nonsense that we do. And I'll say again, we all know that white supremacy has an effect on us as black people. We all know that. And no one's denying it. I'm definitely not denying it. But you will never hear me say something went wrong in my life because of white supremacy. You will never hear me say white supremacy is the reason why I went to jail. White supremacy is the reason why I don't have a job or a car or a house or whatever. No. Because if white supremacy exists in such a way, if it is such a burden on us, isn't that more the reason for us to do better as opposed to going along with the quote-unquote white supremacy narrative? If we think white supremacy is so damn relevant in our lives, why the hell are we doing better instead of worse? We gotta stop making excuses for ourselves. And we gotta stop making excuses for other black people. We can't continue to give people excuses for doing silly things. We can't continue to give people reasons to justify their bad acts. We gotta stop doing that. We've been doing that for a half a damn century. And what has it gotten us? It's gotten us nothing. I mean, you go back 50, 60 years back when black people owned businesses back when black people had some wealth, when a lot of black people owned their own homes, they owned restaurants, transportation companies, laundromats, diners, stores. Black people were doing good 50, 60 years ago. And guess what? They lived in the days of massive, overwhelming Jim Crow, white supremacists. Okay? They lived in a time where if white supremacy is so prevalent now, I'm pretty sure it was way more prolific 50, 60 years ago. But black people were doing better. They were doing better when white supremacy was at its height. So we can't now, in 2016, cry white supremacy because our asses is broke. We can't cry white supremacy because a lot of our asses are in jail. We can't cry white supremacy because a lot of our asses have not gotten the American dream, so to speak. Can we keep white supremacy in mind? Yes. But to fall back on it and let that be the reason, or better yet, the damn excuse for continuing to do things the way we do it is nonsense. And anyone who pontificates it is a damn fool, and they're misleading people. They need to stop it. Because those same people who are always talking about white supremacy this, white supremacy that, those are the same damn people who prey on other black folks. Trust that. And they'll be the first person to cry that white supremacy nonsense. They will be the first person running to the white man for something when they need it. Trust that too. White supremacy, the reason for everything. Bullshit. And we all know it. And we need to knock it off. Prophet of thought. Open your
And you put that crap down on your children and wonder why these niggas is so crazy?